Hi again folks, how are you all doing? Well, here's another Hornby Mallard in bits. This was sent to me by Mick, who told me he had a problem with the worm not meshing with the gears, and also one of the wheels had a loose tyre. He took it apart to try and sort it, but has got himself into a wee bit of a tangle. He's not the first, and he won't be the last, but at least he gave it a go. So he sent it on to me to see if I can get this back together and running for him. Right, we'll wizard this lot off to the bench, and we'll see if we can get it all sorted. Right, so another model in bits and pieces, this time a Hornby Mallard, local driven. Yeah, just looking at looking at this, the valve gear is well and truly mangled up. The wires have got themselves into a tangle. Yeah, quartering's okay, but yeah, we shall need to dismantle this and put it all back together properly. And hopefully it'll be okay. The original problem of the motor, which is in here, there's the two gears, just get a quick look at them. The original problem of the motor not meshing, very, very common with these Hornby models. I've come across it many times, and I usually correct it using little plastic shims. Yeah, Mick said there was what looked like a little piece of solder wedged underneath the motor to try and shim it. So he was sold this as new, but I don't think Hornby would bodge something like that, although you never know. But anyway, quick check of the double gear, at least it's not split. The intermediate gear is also good. Hopefully the drive gear is the same. We've got another little bag of pieces here, which is screws and spacers, crank pins and other bits and bobs. Right, okay, the tender appears to be alright. So put that to one side. The body is good. We shall leave that. So, this shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, I mean the valve gear is a mess, especially on this side. That's going to take a bit of straightening out, but we shall dismantle it and then clean everything, get it all back together. I'm sure it'll be fine. Undo that crank pin, that off. There's another little spacer. Looks like the wires are still attached to the drawbar. Oh, that one's in tight. Need a bigger screwdriver. Pickups seem okay. That. Right, okay. Pickups are a bit oily, so I'll need to clean them up. Just get some slack in those wires. That should pull out. These wheels out. That's the front one. Now these wheels all seem okay, so I'm not quite sure what Mick was on about, seeing the plastic insert had come out of the wheel. The drive gear is fine, so yeah, we're all okay. The axles are clean, they've got a bit of oil in them, which is fine. Actually get parallel pliers onto this one actually, it's been well and truly mangled up. And then that'll go back in. Don't need to oil this, it's all fine. There we go. Pop this back on, just keep everything where it should be. Right, that all seems fine. Okay, So the valve gear on this side seems okay, but the one on this side, yeah. So that's what you call a mangled valve gear. It's going to take a bit of sorting actually. Unfortunately the metal is very soft. I think it's just copper. I think these are just plated copper. So it's very soft and easily worked with, but when they get that badly mangled up, it's hard to get them properly straight again. Yeah, and it's also bent that way as well. You know, when it's bent like that, that's not good. There we go. So that's now in the slider. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so go in there. Need to get the headlamp. So that goes in there. It's no surprising people get into a bit of a mess with these things. They are very fiddly. There. There we go. That's that side. Okay, I need a crank pin. Let's see what's in this wee bag. Right, there's the crank pin. Spacer. I was sure I saw a spacer in that wee bag. What have I done that? Thought I saw it. There it is. What is wrapped up in this tissue paper? Is it the blanking plate? Yes, it is. Fine. Yeah, I'm not liking this this valve gear. It is very badly bent. I think there's a chance we might be looking at a new valve gear for this because it's a bit of a mess. Right, come on. Is that going to be in an awkward position? Of course it is. There we go. So what's the biggest problem when you're putting reassembling a model that's been disassembled like this is what screw goes where. Because when you dismantle it yourself, you should, remember all the geography of parts. So you should know what goes where when you put it back together. But if you haven't taken it apart, someone else has taken it apart, then, yeah. Right, that seems okay. That seems okay. The valve gear is a bit mangled, but if it works, it works. So, we'll call that done at the moment. I've got to put this little intermediate gear in, and we'll lubricate it. Switch my light back on. We've got double gear. We'll give it a scoosh and a brush. Quick scoosh, and going over with the manky brush just to get rid of all the old lubricant. Silicone grease into the gears. Just a wee spot of oil on there and on there. Okay, so that will go there. That's going to go on there. We'll get some gear oil onto the worm. That'll then go on there. Yeah, it's going to need a shim, I think. You invariably do. Don't think anything's screwing into that, so that must be possibly this screw. So yeah, a wee piece of plastic in there will help shim that, I think. That wants to go on there. That will screw into there. I don't think I've got the wee screws for this. Because that wants to go in there like that, and I'm missing the screws for that. So these are 3mm M2 screws. Blanking plate in, pin number 1. Right, we need to wire this up. The connections on the drawbar are very mangled. The contacts on the drawbar are very mangled. But let's see if this actually runs. We need to wire up the motor, but we'll figure out which one of these wires goes to which terminal on the motor. But I'll need to strip the ends. So we'll give it a wee snip and a wee strip. Let's just put this on the track. Yeah, so that wire goes to the top and that wire goes to the bottom. Right, okay, so this wire here goes to the bottom terminal and that one goes to the top. Right, where was I? Got interrupted by a phone call there. Solder that to that and that to that. Sort the contacts out, sort the wiring out. And I think that'll be job done, I think. Oh yeah, got to shim the motor as well. Actually, I think we might just shim the motor first. Wee piece of plastic. So I've just put the end of a wee piece of cable tie in between the motor and this bracket at the back, and that's holding the motor firmly in place. It's entirely possible it's too far down at the front, so until I get it running and test it, I don't know, but it might be a bit lurchy, so might be a bit tweaking to the motor yet, but we'll see. But let's get soldered up. That to there. So, right, okay, let's stick this on the test track and see what happens. Right, okay, power on. It doesn't look too bad. A wee bit of a click, doesn't surprise me. We'll get this onto the rolling rod. Don't really like the movement of this piece, it seems to be a bit jerky. Yeah, there's a wee thump in reverse. We need to bring that out a bit. And on that side. I think it's okay. It's got a wee bit of a thump, but I think that's just the play in the gears. It seems to be okay on the test track. It's very noticeable on the rolling road, but I've come across that before. But yeah, no, I think we're okay. We'll just get a spot of oil on some of these linkages. Go, I think that's in. Does that move okay? silly slot head fixing screw. And there we go. We're done. We've got it all back together. Let's connect it up to the tender, give it a wee test run. Okay then, last test. Nice as ninepence. It's pulling about 150 milliamps. Right, so there we go. That's this Hornby A4 Mallard in LNER blue, all back together and running fine. I do like a blue locomotive. So let's pull this out of the shed. Okay, let's bring out Mallard. Okay, so there we go, that's Mick's Hornby Mallard back in running order. Yet another case of that badly fitting Hornby motor needing shimmed to stay put. But the model ended up in a bit of a mess, unfortunately. However, it's back together now and it runs fine. You can't beat a local driven blue A4. So yeah, there we go, job done. I shall get it packed up and sent back to Mick, and we shall see what's next. Okay folks, catch yous later.
I don't know how you put up with her, Bella, making you wear those ridiculous clothes and working all the hours. I don't know who she thinks she is, strutting about like Lady Muck. It's no been the same since that family took over. I remember when this was the Druthy Inn, and you could get a 3-course meal for £2 bob. And did you hear about...